So, good morning, second year students. Yesterday we were doing selected snobberies by Aldous Huxley, and we did that snobbery is a habit in a person of self-importance. He feels that others are inferior and he is superior to others, and he shows off. And we also did that the most bad sort of snobbery is the snobbery of showing off one's diseases. But the author says that you can show off on other things but not on diseases. Why? Because people don't realize the final stages of fatal diseases as consumption or AIDS or cancer. They just feel snobbish that I'm suffering from the same disease as Keats used to suffer or any other hero used to suffer. Then he talked of the snobbery of family. Now it is on decline. Actually, in previous years, in the past, people used to feel proud of belonging to a very large family or belonging to an aristocratic family. But nowadays, in the modern times, neither is a person proud of belonging to a very large family. Rather, he takes pride in having a very small family. Plus, now with the rights of equality, people don't feel snobbish about belonging to a very high family or aristocratic family. Nowadays all are equal. Then the author talks about the booze snobbery, which is a very bad sort of snobbery. Actually, due to American prohibition, people used to take pride in drinking in public because they thought that it would be a great thing to be seen drunk even after the American prohibition. And the author says that nowadays all the sections of society, including men, children, they don't feel ashamed in drinking. Rather, they feel proud of. So, let us continue. The malefic influences of this snobbery are rapidly spreading all over the world. Even in France, where the existence of so many varieties of delicious wine has hitherto imposed a judicious connoisseurship and has led to the branding of mere drinking as brutish solecism. Even in France, the American booze snobbery, with its odious accompaniments, a taste for hard drinks in general and for cocktails in particular, is making headway among the rich. Now he says, France, which is a country of variety of wines, even there people feel snobbish about drinking, and they have a taste for hard drinks and even for cocktails. And nowadays this booze snobbery is having its roots in France also. Booze snobbery has now made it socially permissible and is in some circles even rather creditable for well brought up men. And this is the novelty: well brought up women of all ages from 15 to 70 to be seen drunk, if not in public, at least in the very much tempered privacy of a party. As I told you that previously people used to be ashamed if they were seen drunk, but nowadays it has become a prestige point for men, for women of all ages, for children even, that if they are seen drunk, they don't feel ashamed of the fact, but they feel snobbish about it. They feel rather proud that it is a prestige point that we have been seen drunk, and if not in public, but in the privacy of a party. Now see the paradox: privacy of a party. Then he comes to another type of snobbery. He says, modernity snobbery, though not exclusive to our age, has come to assume an unprecedented importance. The reasons for this are simple and of strictly economic character. Now he says that everyone is modernity snob. Almost everyone feels that it is his prime duty to be up to date and to accept the latest of fashions And what is fashion? It is modernity. It is modernity snobbery. Everyone wants to be a modernity snob. So, and what are the reasons? The reasons are economic. Thanks to the modern machinery, production is outrunning consumption. Now he says that nowadays production is so much that it is outrunning consumption. Now, what happened in the past ages? People used to use a thing until it is totally unusable. But nowadays what happens? Whenever we buy a thing, we get bored from it and we want something new. So, modernity snobbery has clutched the minds of all of us. So, thanks to modern machinery, production is outrunning consumption. Organized waste among consumers is the first condition of the industrial prosperity. Now you see, what do you mean by this statement? He says, organized waste among consumers. Who are the consumers? We are the consumers. We buy clothes, we buy boots, we buy TV and computers and other gadgets, but we waste them. How do we waste them? Do you remember that advertisement in TV? Dabba hai dabba, uncle ka TV dabba. Now what do you mean by this? That they want you to throw away the old TV and buy a new one. By this statement, because whenever you will listen to this advertisement, you will really feel that you are not modern if you don't have the new latest LED TV. Even if your old TV is working, even if it is in a very good condition, you will be forced to throw it. So what are advertisements? You see the advertisement of Maggi. It says that it is very healthy. But we know that packed food is not healthy. But all the mothers are forced to think that if they are not giving Bonvita to their children, they are not good mothers. And who is doing this work? This work is being done by advertisements. They are conditioning our minds. If you notice the advertisements, you will notice that they are conditioning our minds in such a way that we are forced to buy new things and we throw away our old things even if they are in proper condition. So this is called organized waste. We are not using things to their full, but we are throwing them. Why? Because we want to be called modern. And in this work, advertisements and newspapers and magazines, they are helping the industrialists. So he says that organized waste among consumers is the first condition of our industrial prosperity. So he says that the sooner a consumer throws away an object and the object he bought and buys another, the better for the producer. So what will the producer want? He will want that you should throw away your old articles and you should buy new things. You should buy new clothes, new boots, new set of TV, new set of sofa, everything new, because it is in his interest. His production will be increased when you will consume his articles. So he says at the same time, of course, the producer must do his bit. Now, how will he do his bit? He will do his bit by asking you, by forcing you to buy new things as soon as possible. Now, substitute motor car, boot and suit of clothes, etc. for skyscraper and 1 year, 3 months and 6 months and so on for 40 years, and you have the gospel of any leader of the modern industry. So he says that if a contractor builds a building which lasts more than 40 years, he is a traitor to his own business. Why? Because if he builds very strong buildings, then who will employ him? How will he earn money? In the same way, he says, if you buy a motor car and if it lasts more than 1 year, if you buy a suit of clothes and it lasts more than 3 months, if you buy boots and it goes on for 6 months, then what happens? Then you will not buy a new thing and it will have a loss for the producer. So you understand, the manufacturer of boots will make boots of such quality that they will not last for more than 6 months. If you will buy a suit of clothes, they will not last for more than 1 year. So they make most perishable items. Perishable means such items which will not be usable for a long period of time. So modernity snob, it is obvious, is the industrialist best friend. Now how is modernity snob the industrialist best friend? Because he throws away his articles very soon and he buys new things. And how is he friend to industrialist? Because he is having a great profit for the industrialists. So they tend to throw away their old possessions and buy new ones at a greater rate than those who are not modernity snobs. Therefore, it is in the producer's interest to encourage modernity snobbery. So how do they encourage modernity snobbery? Through the advertisements. And they spend a lot of money on advertisements. Why? In order to force you to think that in order to be modern, you should buy new things. Then the newspapers do their best to help those who help them. How do the newspapers help the industrialists? Because they give advertisements. Every day you will find that 30% of the newspaper is filled with advertisements. And to the flood of advertisement, it is added a flood less directly paid for propaganda in favor of modernity snobbery. The public is taught that up-to-dateness is one of the first duties of man. What do you mean by up-to-dateness? That if you are not wearing the latest kind of shoes, you are not modern. If you are not wearing the latest kind of dress, you are not modern. And if you are not having the latest kind of gadgets in your house, you are not modern. So they force you to think. It is all psychological conditioning. We fail to understand that these are all having a negative effect on our mind. So docile means the public is meek, it does not understand, it accepts the reiterated suggestions. Reiterated means repeated. When one thing is repeated for many times, we are forced to think that it is true. We are all modernity snobs now. Now he says that nobody can say that I am not modernity snob. We are living in a modern world and we all are modernity snobs. Thank you.